All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow, and I'm coming on here just for a moment to have a literal heart-to-heart talk with each and every last one of us. Now, you understand this. I understand very well understand that I have enemies out there, and this message, I could care less about them whatsoever at all. But I'm getting ready to make a statement and a point here, and you really, truly need to listen to what I'm getting ready to say. Now, I've got little Elias right here. I've known little Elias since he was 2 years old. Little Elias is 13 years old now. At 8 years old, Elias could quote the 10 Commandments. If many of you who follow the ministry, you probably see his face every single Sabbath or Sabbath because he's quoting the 10 Commandments before we get started with service. As a matter of fact, Elias, can you go ahead and quote the 10 Commandments for us?
Sure. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generations of them that hate me, but showing mercy to the thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor the stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
What's remarkable and amazing is that the Bible teaches us to train up the children in a way that they should go. And when they get old, they won't depart from the faith. You know what's remarkable? He's 13 years old. He's been doing this ever since he's been 8 years old. He was learning them way before then. And this young man knows the 10 Commandments. And the best that most of you Americans can do out there, you can't even quote the 10 Commandments, but you can quote me 10 beers that's going on here in this country. You can name 10 beers here in this country. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, when I started making this video series of What Colors with Jesus, the majority of the people that commented, the majority of the people that chimed in on it, first of all, number one, they don't have any fellowship with any people whatsoever at all. They're probably hermits or whatever you want to call them. They don't even read the Bible. They don't even walk after righteousness or truth. They could care less about it. But yet and still look at the devil. They'll come in here and they'll start all this discord and stuff. What was that for? That was to try the hearts of those of you who say that you believe. To see, will you serve the truth or not? Totally irrelevant what color his skin was. I'm not going to tell you that. Neither am I going to disclose that. I'm going to put out an opinion. I'm going to put out what I believe to be truth. And then we're going to let the chips fall where it's laid. Now, the reason why I'm bringing that all up is because of this. We have had a psychological warfare perpetuated against our minds. Every single person in this country, especially if you're in what you call the so-called middle class or the poor. The Bible teaches us this is rich and poor, and that's it. And we're seeing this come to fruition every single day. You know, it's no mistake, and I make no mistake about it. I was a veteran in the United States Army and a veteran of the First Gulf War, and also a few other conflicts in between. I make no mistake, I used to be a paratrooper. I make no apologies for it in the United States Army. I used to be, I had many other skill identifiers, such as air assault and a few other things. The sad part about it is I am literally ashamed to say that I've actually served in the military in this country. Most of you veterans ain't got enough sense, nor do you have enough to stick in a fortitude to even admit the same thing. Oh, you may say it behind the closed doors, but you don't really truly, you won't say it out here in front of this video like I am because I'm a man of truth. Well, my allegiance belongs to the Father of the Almighty himself, and that's it. Because I have understood, and I've looked at history, and I've researched history, and I've saw what has happened in this country. We got a whole bunch of people on here making a big deal about being an oath keeper and about keeping the Constitution of the United States and that document and stuff. And you know what's sad to me? What's sad to me is that you got all these people that will be an oath keeper and people that will willfully go out and die for this country against and protect so-called this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic, and you don't even know that your own country has made you an enemy itself. And it's just sad because, you know, you in any time being a veteran, you knew that you was going to be subject to be called to war, and you'd have went and you'd have died, no questions asked. But now, more than anything, especially you're in the faith, your oath is to the your oath is not to the Constitution of the United States first. It is to the commandments of the Most High Yah, and that's it. Commandment keepers. That's what I am. That's what the people here straightway are. Because let's look at the truth of history. There's not been a just war that this country has ever waged. Every one of it has been under the guise of lies. Every single one of it has been under trumped up charges. You look at World War I, World War II. You look at the Korean War, the Vietnam. You look at Gulf of Tonkin. You look at the Korean War, the Vietnam War. You turn around and you look at Grenada, Honduras. You look at the first Gulf War, the second Gulf War, Afghanistan, Iraq, what's going on in Egypt and Libya right now. Hey, none of these wars are what you call just wars. All the people in the United States are nothing but pawns for these rich folks, these minions chess game. And we got our brothers, our sisters, we got our young men and our young women going out and dying for the cause of the monarchies, the oligarchies, and the rich of this world. Because we're not fighting for sovereignty. We're not fighting for what we would call the truth, and it's being put in our heart. We have had this patriotism drummed in our hearts in public school system left and right, only to go out and find out that later on, after you come to the knowledge of truth, you've been submitting to lies and you've been doing nothing but dying for lies. Now you got people out there that are in these national cemeteries that are now pushing up daisies and pushing up grass right now. Nothing more than people who have just been deceived. They had it in their heart that they was doing an honorable thing, but the powers that be, who sat in their sealed houses and sealed homes, has actually used each and every last one of us for pawns in their chess games to go and die in their wars so they can make more profit. That's the reason why you don't see the rich ever sending their children to war. It's always you and I, and that's it. And it's sad. It's really truly sad because when you really truly look at the evidence of all these wars and everything that's going on in this country, the only thing that this country care about is making a profit off you. They don't care nothing about you, nothing about me whatsoever at all, and they have proved it by the laws that they pass, by the way that they operate and how they stand. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's just like the WWF, the NBA, and the NFL. It's all a Ponzi scheme. For instance, you ever see some of these sports figures? They'll get up on the camera, and then all of a sudden they'll speak their mind. They'll say what's really truly in their heart, only to come back a few days later with an apology because behind closed doors, they've been jacked up. They've been jacked up by the powers that be and say, you better listen here. I'm going to tell you what, you better listen here too. These people that fill these seats in these arenas and these football fields, they pay your paycheck and they pay my paycheck. They're the ones who make sure we're wealthy. So you better go out there and cater to them. You better cow down to them. And that's why I say you people out there are stupid to sit up there and say that some NFL football team, that's my team, that's my team. And we'll literally come to blows and fights over something so stupid as that. Thinking that is your team and stuff, and yet you have no stock, you have no dividends, and all you do is pay into it with this paraphernalia, and that's it. It's just so sad what they have done. A country has never been built by people playing sports, and that's just the truth. A country has never been built because they're chasing a ball around. A country is built by people who are architects, who understand what it means to be a mason or a carpenter, who understand what it means to have structure, integrity, and building and stuff, and an engineer. Doctors, stuff like that, people that will benefit the people, not because of entertainment and stuff. And now you go out there and you make these sports figures gods and stuff, and all they're doing is policing your pocket, got you deceived, the same way with our government. Oh, you proud to be an American? Well, at least you know you're free. Hey, I'm an American. I'm an American. But the American that I understood and the American that you understand, that's not the America that we're living in right now. We all know this. We all know this. The Constitution is not in effect right now. Its laws and its statutes and it's not in effect. We know this. We know that we've been hijacked. We know this. And yet and still, most of us are still trying to function after some fictitious country called America, and we don't see it operating right before our very eyes. Our liberties are being stripped from us. Our freedoms are being taken from us left and right. And now they're making a bill already to ban all ammo. I tell you what, it is something else what's going on in this world. So, no, I teach our children here at the community because they're homeschooled. I teach our children here the truth about history. I don't care what it looks like, in what way, shape, fashion, or form, I tell them the truth. They're not going to be deceived like I was and like the way that many of you still are. They're going to understand what it means. Now, if you have got any fight in anything whatsoever at all, you need to fight for your right to live. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You got these people out there that are dead soldiers that have died in foreign wars all across this land. Most of them have never known the Most High. Most of them, you know what? They did what you call an honorable thing. Die for this country, but their soul, their living soul, their soul is burning in an eternal hell and destined to go to the lake of fire while they're singing, I'm proud to be an American and for the stripes of the red, white, and blue. How about the commandments? How about getting your soul right, which is eternal? It's going to live forever, and stop being deceived. Stop going around being mind numb by this system. Right now, America is building up a massive military force over there in Iran. Where's the news media at? Because they're all sold out. They do just like the WWE do. They all act like that they're against each other, and they're all promoting the so-called truth and stuff. And they do that in front of the camera, but behind scenes they're Pizos, chums, and friends and pals. That's why your police force, that's why the news media and all them, they're opted into the system of Edwin Longshanks. If you don't understand what I mean, go back and look at the movie Braveheart, and you understand what I mean. You see, brothers and sisters, you all have been deceived. You all have been lied to, and you don't want to see the forest because the trees are in the way. It's sad. It's totally sad how we have been coerced. We have had our minds manipulated, and we've set up here and we allow people who are even not in the faith to come inside of this place right here, inside of your conscience and your mind. You let them in your living room and stuff to manipulate you and divide you on such an issue of what color someone is. I made an example in the dining hall this morning. I got a brother that is from India. His name is Brother Spinney. Brother Spinney is from India. He is darker than I am, but his hair color is the same color as Elias. In this country, they will never call him a black man. They will say he's an Indian or someone of Arab descent, but yet his color is deeper and darker than mine. Brother Spinney's is. And he's my brother and I love him dearly. But you know the reason why that this country don't call him a black man is because of the texture of his hair and the texture of mine. They're identified psychologically, unknowingly, whether you like it or not. That's how they identify people. And they manipulate you minds to cause race wars and to be at odds with each other in your minds because you don't understand what's going on. So when you get somebody like me trying my best to wake you up and put a defibrillator on your mind, you're going to see that this thing is going to operate and it's going to play out just like the Bible said it is. This is with the rich and the poor. Do not rich men oppress you? Do not they rule over you? Do that new name not make you subject to their tyrannical and wicked laws? Who are passing all these wicked laws that are in this land? And what are they doing it for right now? They're doing it for the protection of their own hides and not you. That's why I teach you, if you got the ears to hear, if you're in the kingdom of Yah, your commandments keeper, one thing is better be sure, whether you be black or white. And I don't care how some of you people are just so ignorant because you can't tell by looking at me that I'm a black man. Or you can't tell, look at him and see that he's an Indian. I have no problem, no compunction. If you want to remain that stupid, that ignorant, and that dumb, that's up to you. You can believe that way. And won't trouble me one bit at all. But for those of us that get it, we better get the understanding and we better bind together under the commandments of the Most High Yah and become commandments keeper first. Because what good is it for you to go and die for this wicked country right here and this wicked principles of this country right here and lose your eternal soul? That is a question that everybody needs to answer. It makes no difference to me whether you believe it or not. When people come to this channel, they already know that I'm a pastor. No, I'm not a pastor after your flavoring and never will be. But I'm a pastor for the truth, and that is the truth straight way. Most of you will be able to understand and hear exactly what I'm saying. Most of you ain't going to be able to hear nothing. Like I said, this young man knows the 10 Commandments, and I can put this young man up against any Christian pastor in America on any subject they want to choose. This young boy right here, I can. But I guarantee that most of you know what 10 beers are. I guarantee you got that doctrine and that scripture down pat to the T. And it's a little shame. Wherever your treasure is, there will your heart be also. And we know where some of your treasure is. I just took a hand grenade, pulled a clip, threw it off in there, bam! And guess what? Now I know, even more so, who my enemies are. And I thank the Father for that. I'm going to do this from time to time on different subjects, different areas. I sure am. Because I'm going to know them that labor among me. I'm going to know them. Because when this crap hits the fan, some of you are going to be looking for folks like us who are prepared. And I'm making preparations. And I know exactly who you are. Don't show up at the front gate of Straightway because you aren't going to like what you're going to receive. You're not going to like what you're going to get. And that's just the truth. I hope that me and you have wisdom and knowledge to understand what I've said. I could care less about those who are not in the faith, who don't understand it. I do have friends that are not in the faith. I have friends that stick closer than a brother that are not in the faith. I love you very dearly. Yes, I do. But you people have got to stop allowing the psychological effect of this wicked system to rule your conscience and to rule your mind. And that is the truth. And that's the truth. Straightway. Wake up. Wake up out of sleep. Get out of this paradigm. Because the shift is coming. It's going to be more than what many of you are willing to pay. Get your heart right so when you do pass, your eternal soul will go to glory. And will come back with the King when he sets his feet down on the Mount of Olives in New Jerusalem, and where we will rule and reign forever. Don't get caught up in this mess about all this patriotism stuff and go out here and die and not have your heart right before the breath leaves your body.